Hello, welcome. We are talking about book to business opportunities today, and I am Melody Ann, your host. We have resources at Author Nation for you. Wherever you happen to be in the publishing process, we have a resource for you. You're planning your book, grab our planning checklist. You're thinking about publishing, grab our publishing guide so you know which publishing option is the best for you. You can find all of those at authornation.online. The link will be in the description and it is scrolling past you right now. All right, my guest, noisy, bossy, compelling, Fitz Koehler of FITZ'S.com is the author of multiple books, including My Noisy Cancer Comeback and Your Healthy Cancer Comeback, from Sick to Strong, and Healthy Cancer Comeback Journal. She is a busy keynote speaker, a professional race announcer, and a fitness expert. Her small company, FITZ'S International, has a global reach, and she's conquered every avenue of mass media to help people live better and longer. Let's welcome Fitz. Hello, Fitz. How are you today?
Fantastic, Melody. Thanks so much for having me.
Brilliant. No, you're welcome. I'm so thrilled you're here. Tell us, let's just start out basics. How did you get into the fitness industry?
I started at 14. I joined a gym after having knee surgery. Physical therapist said, go strength train or you're going to re-hurt yourself. So I got into the gym and I fell in love with it. And then my manager at Cinnabon, where I was making cinnamon buns at the mall, got nasty. And I thought, I'm going to go work somewhere else. So I applied at Spa Lady and in Fort Lauderdale, and thankfully they hired me, and they gave me about 3 days notice to teach my first class, and it actually went over really well, and I've been doing it ever since. I've gone to much greater heights. I have a master's in exercise and sports sciences, and I've turned that job into a career, but I love making fitness understandable, attainable, and fun, and helping people live better and longer.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. 14. That's
Yeah.
great. It reminds me when my daughter was in high school. She's older now, but when she was in high school, we used to go to the gym together before she went to school. And then she'd go to school and I'd go off, not all the time, but, not all the way through high school, but whenever we could get her up and out. And I love that, right? It was just so much fun. So doing fitness together in some way, whether through classes or with family or, a running group, it's brilliant. And you're not a traditional fitness instructor. At least this is not, so you don't just teach classes. Tell us a little bit more about all the things you do in the fitness industry.
Yeah, I exclusively teach via mass media and live presentation. So I ditched the gym atmosphere over 20 years ago. While it was very fun, and there's a wonderful place in the world for fitness instructors doing that, I started teaching fitness on television when I was about 20, and fell in love with not only the process, but the outcomes. And the outcomes were strangers from all over the place grabbing me and saying, "Are you Fitz? Yes, I love your show. I record it so I can do it every day. And I've lost 17 pounds, or my back doesn't hurt." And it was incredibly powerful to me, the concept of helping strangers. So if you're in a gym, you can help 50 people max. If you're on television, sometimes I help millions of people at a pop. And so that's really, that satisfies me. That's my craving, is mass impact. So all media and then live audience presentations. And usually it's via keynotes or corporate presentations.
Yeah, brilliant. Dual Brainer is loving that. He's sending us a smile. Thank you so much. So something else you do is you are a race announcer. So I must admit, I'm sorry, I don't 100% know all the things. Like I have a little bit of sense of what they do, but I think you do a lot more than just go, and number one has come past the finish line. So tell us a little bit more about what that is and why it's so exciting.
Yeah, so my events are some of the largest, most iconic running events in the United States. Los Angeles Marathon, Buffalo Marathon, Big Sur, Fargo, Route 66, usually enormous events filled with thousands of people and all the bells and whistles of a quality event. And when athletes arrive to their start line, I'm waiting there. I'm usually on a stage right at the start line, playing incredible music to get people feeling excited and uplifted. And then I get them engaged, informed, and entertained. So I have a lot of work to do in the morning, telling people where they need to go, what they need to do, recognizing our sponsors, introducing dignitaries. And then most importantly to me is whipping these people into a frenzy. And then I yell, go, and they all leave. And sometimes it's a short distance, 1 mile or 3 miles. And sometimes they go off for full marathons. But whenever they leave, I miss them because we were having so much fun. But then eventually they creep back to me at a finish line. So I move to the finish line, or I remain if it's the same place. But there's another stage and another sound system, and I play incredible music. And as people come through, technology allows me to welcome most of our athletes by name. So on their bib, I never say bib 1, 2, 3, 4. Nobody knows what their bib number is. Nobody cares. So on the back, there's a tip that once they cross over a mat on the ground about 20 yards before the finish line, they hit that mat. I get their name and I can say, welcome Bob Smith from Portland, Oregon. And I'll know his name and maybe some other information. But, I want to make sure our champions feel like real champions. But then I want every single athlete from then on out, including the last person, to feel like the champion. And I want them to feel loved and accomplished. And, I'm the ringleader of the fun, and I provide a hell of a lot of structure. But yeah, happy noise. That's what I call it. I make happy noise.
Yeah. Brilliant. And I have a question. So if they, it's their birthday, or if they've come back from something big, do you sometimes get information, kind of behind the scenes information? Oh, cool.
Always. Yeah. And we have a lot of birthdays, and I'm always happy to say happy birthday. But, sometimes we have someone running their first marathon with 0 legs. It's their first time out on their prosthetics doing their first marathon, or they just beat cancer, or they're running as a couple for the first time, or they're running their 2000th marathon. I have plenty of people that are running their 1500th, 2000th marathon. And, I love the details, and I'm highly invested in my athletes. So it's, beyond the start and finish line, I arrive at an event pretty early. I try to get to know as many people as possible. And it's really motivational, exciting, and entertaining to the other people to hear about Susie Q just beating brain cancer, or, losing 400 pounds. So yeah, it's the devil's in the detail in the best way possible.
Yeah, I love that. And the holistic tooth fairy is saying happy noise is great.
Yeah,
I love that. Happy noise is great. Thank you. So, that kind of is a great segue into my next question, which is, you've had a medical setback. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Oh boy. Yeah. So healthy girl, fitness expert, walking the walk, doing everything I advise. And in 2019, 7 weeks after a sparkling clean mammogram, I got out of a shower at a race weekend in a hotel, and I rubbed my underboob, and I found a lump, a sizey lump. And within about a week or so, I had all the scans and the biopsies that told me that lump was cancerous, and it had already spread, and it was running through me like wildfire. And I was going to need to have very aggressive treatment if I wanted to survive. And I did. And so I was set off on 15 months of chemo, which is a really long time to have chemo. And in between that 15 months, along the way, I had 33 rounds of radiation, several surgeries, and I'm very, very proud to be in remission right now. But yeah, it was an unexpected hurdle, and it was difficult and dark and scary. But I also made a bunch of decisions that made it a whole lot less miserable, and added a lot of fun, and provided some real success because of those decisions. And so that's where this new book series comes from, is helping other people overcome and succeed despite cancer, not because of it.
Yeah, let's get into that. But I have to say, that must have been such a shock.
Yeah.
Such a shock. All right, let's talk about noisy cancer comeback.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think when they get cancer, they think about shrinking, right? About, moving themselves away from support and public life, and right. So you called your book Noisy Cancer Comeback, which makes me think that wasn't how you tackled it. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
This is that one, my noise. And it's running at the mouth while running for my life. So, cancer made me angry, right? It made me scared, but then it made me angry. And I was I was fine that it was going to take my hair and it was going to take my happy feelings or my healthy feelings for a while. I mean, I wasn't fine, but it was the exchange for my life. But I was not going to let cancer steal time with my kids nor my career. I had worked too hard for both of those things. And I just made some decisions. I wasn't its victim, and I wasn't going to play that part. And I was going to fight like hell, not only to survive, but to continue my life as I had deemed it appropriate. And so yeah, this one, this one's all about the mental fortitude and the great decisions. And it's a memoir. So, one of the things that really inspired that book is the fact that nobody seems to talk about all the gory details. So, before my treatment, I had this breast cancer 101 lecture from the oncologist's PA. And she said things like, you might have to have a mastectomy and you might have to have a hysterectomy and you probably will lose your hair and you might feel sick. And I got a lot of that. But no one ever told me my eyes might change colors. My vision would go. My nails would rip off. My fingernails literally rotted out on my fingers and they smelled like rotten fingers. So can you imagine sleeping on rotten fingers? And it would just, I kept thinking, are you kidding me? And I have a quirky sense of humor, very sarcastic. So I was able, even while being punished severely, I was able to laugh at it. And that's actually was the trigger for this first book. I thought, you know what? People might get a kick out of this. So I wasn't telling anybody of any of the hardships while I went through it. I just kept saying, I'm fine. I'm fine, even when I wasn't fine. But I thought, you know what? If people knew what really went on behind the scenes, especially when you combine cancer and traveling to 30 different locations around the country and hosting 1 million people while your fingernails are rotting and your eyes are changing colors. And I thought people would have a good laugh. So that's how this book happened.
Yeah. And it's speaking the truth as well. So people will know actually what it's about, right?
Right.
'Cause I think we often in our society kind of, put some things under the rug so that we don't, not just about cancer, about motherhood, about working, about, all these things. We don't have all these real conversations. So it sounds like your book is a real conversation.
So it's funny. I tend to focus on the funny stuff because it's just like I'm a joy addict, right? So I'm always looking for that. But the number one comment I get from this book is raw and real. And people say, I cried a whole bunch, but I laughed a lot more. And so, I told the truth. I couldn't tell the truth as it happened because I didn't want people to pity me. And I wouldn't have been able to bear. But once I got through it, like you can't pity me in reverse, right? If you read the book, you can't go, oh, the poor, it's over. That girl's not me anymore, or I'm not her anymore. So yeah, I just laid it all out there as it happened, and I told the truth. And it's funny, after I published this book, I didn't read anyone else's memoirs because I didn't want their experience to contaminate mine, right? I just thought I'm going to write my book. And then maybe after I'll go and read. And then I did. I read, there's quite a few celebrities who have had breast cancer, and I read their book, and boy, they didn't give any of the gory details. None. It was like, I had a mastectomy today, and then I went home. All right, well, what does that look like? What does that feel like? Did you have drains? What was weird? What was funny? And nobody was sharing the gory stuff. So I feel really proud that I got down in the weeds and people are enjoying that.
Yeah, no, I think especially people dealing with it will appreciate the journey, right? It's, although I think there's also people who are in it who are like, I don't need to read about somebody else's journey. I'm on my own already. So either or, right? But then you wrote another one, Your Healthy Cancer Comeback. So can you tell us briefly about that one?
Yeah. So this one, although I love Noisy, this one I am so excited about because this one came as a response to one of my major aha moments. So halfway through my treatment, I was skeletally thin. I had lost a lot of weight and I was super weak. And when I had hit that rock bottom place, I knew how to dig my way out of that hole. I looked at myself. My mom, this is my mom, says, you look like you were in the Holocaust. And you go, oh, thanks, Mom. Right. But that was her feedback. I know, cringe. So as I'm looking at this version of myself, I never had a doubt that I would get back to fit and healthy and vibrant and strong and athletic. But at that same time, all I could think about was my peers, all these millions of other cancer patients and cancer survivors that have lost weight, gained weight, their body has been brutalized, ravaged, and they don't have any idea how to get back to normalcy and beyond. And lucky me, I'm a fitness expert who had cancer. Yay. I was able to come up with the magic solution, but they didn't. And so this was my commitment to those people that I paid for. It's a blueprint. It's got all the guidance on training during treatment, recovering after. And one of the things I'm most proud of is this huge section of photos with instructions. So it's stuff to do on land, regular exercises. But then, with cancer, people go through all sorts of stuff. Maybe you can't stand up. Here's exercises to do in a chair. And then, some days maybe you can't sit in a chair. You're stuck in bed. Here's all sorts of things you can do in bed. And then if you're like me and you're sick and exploding all the freaking time, probably going to take a lot of showers. And then here's all these showers to do in bed. So this is filled with nutrition and exercise and how to actually manage the treatment triathlon, chemo, radiation, surgeries, transplants, and complementary care and other things to make you smile. So this one, I'm shooting for the bleachers here, like Babe Ruth. So the book, What to Expect When You're Expecting.
Yes.
So every pregnant woman gets that book.
Yeah.
I want this book to end up in the hand of every cancer patient on earth. That's my goal moving forward. And I'm going to work my tail off until that's reality.
Yeah. And we used to tell people, don't, if you have cancer, don't exercise. It used to be, if you were sick, if you're injured, if anything, stop exercising, And I think now we know that even if you have a sprained ankle, you can do tiny little movements, which will keep your mobility as you're healing. And if you have cancer, there's something you can do to, help your body, right? Because exercise is like magic.
It is magic. Thank you very much. And, it's not about doing what you've always done. It's about doing what you can do now.
Yes.
Can you push the envelope forward a little bit more? And there is so much research to share that exercise and quality nutrition will make you far more likely to hit remission and far less likely to have a recurrence. And those are things every cancer patient wants. So yeah, it's not rocket science, but it's science. And it's pretty simple thanks to the books.
I love it. Yeah. Well, I hope that gets into the hands of every cancer patient everywhere. I think that's an amazing goal. Thank you. I hope this isn't giving too much away, but I have this question. What are strawberry moments?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm really proud of those. So strawberry moments they're encouraged in this book and they have their own special place in the journal. But when my kids went to summer camp, it was a 2-week-long sleepaway camp in the forest on the lake in Florida. And every night, each cabin would gather the kids around and they went kid by kid and each person had to share their strawberry moments, which were simply the best moments of each day. So if you're at summer camp, it probably is winning the rowing competition or singing karaoke. But with cancer, maybe you also win a rowing competition, but it might be a bad news day, but yet you still received a wonderful text from an old friend, or maybe it's a good news day, or maybe your nurse was really sweet. So in the journal, people are encouraged to every day document their strawberry moments because, even in the darkest days, there are the silver linings, and we often just have to force joy in.
I love that. Strawberry moments. Beautiful. Thank you so much for explaining that. Okay, let's talk about book to business. Is there anything else you want to say about your books before we move on, actually?
Yeah, just the journal, it's filled with tons of prompts on fears, faith, feelings, family, fitness. It's everything to help you document your experience, enjoy a cathartic place to put out all the things that are going on in your life, and then track your journey back from sick to strong. So those are the 3.
Oh, I love that. Yes. And I think that's really powerful. So we talked about exercise is magic. Since I'm a book coach and a writing coach, I also have to just plug in the idea that journaling is also magic, right? That release of all those emotions is also magic, right?
Thank you. I agree.
Dual Brainer says, the morning I woke up with a stroke where I lost control of my right side and I still went and ran 2 blocks. I must have looked like a drunk, stumbling down the street, dragging my right leg and arm. Yes, but power to you, right? Dual Brainer, you did it.
Dual Brainer is my type of person for sure.
Exactly. And on that note, I know Dual Brainer earlier left a note before he even started talking about business opportunities and how excited he was to get his self-published book to leverage his training program signups. So let's talk about book to business opportunities. Okay. So why did you first decide to write books? Was it about business or was there another goal there?
So it really was my mission to help people. So they're nonfiction, they're helping books. So that was the first, but I love business and the opportunity to create a product that was not only helpful, but one that created a residual income. Yeah, very exciting. It's a twofold, and I feel proud of both endeavors.
Right. So it was absolutely to help. And I don't think anyone would write a nonfiction book or a memoir without wanting to help someone. But you also had that. And I wonder how this can also fit into my life and into my business and create another income stream. Perfect. So at what point did you realize I don't just have to earn money by selling a $20 book, but maybe I could also integrate this into my business somehow? At what point did you recognize that?
Well, long ago. So everything within FITZ'S is very interlaced, intertwined. And so speaking is something I've done since I was 15. I started speaking, and that boosted my personal training business. And then the personal training business boosted speaking, and it boosted other things that I was doing. So my entire business, whether it's race announcing or speaking or writing, it's all very much intertwined and they feed off of each other.
Perfect. And so for you, it was, obviously I'm going to integrate the book in some way. That just sounds like it wasn't so much of a aha moment, but of course, this is the way I've always done things.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just one more form of mass media. Now, I did have another book, the Everything Flat Belly Cookbook, that was traditionally published over 10 years ago. And that book was successful and great, but I don't really want anything to do with traditional publishing anymore. I've seen the dark side of it, and I love the power and control I have in self-publishing.
Oh, we're going to get into that in just a minute, but we're going to just back up just a little bit. Yeah. So how did you integrate the book into your business? So besides just selling it for the $20, how else does it fit into your business, and how did you make those decisions?
So it's built into my speaking career. I never thought I'd be speaking or writing about cancer, for crying out loud. Where did I become an authority on cancer? So darn it. It's one of those areas of expertise I could have bypassed. But yeah, I'm a communicator, and I will take every opportunity to pass along a message, whether it's writing or verbal or, synchronized swimming and dancing. If I can relay a message that way, I will. So yeah, the books likely have increased my speaking business, and my speaking business certainly enhances the book sales. And, the people that are coming shopping for cancer books will get to my website and they'll go, you know what? I'm buying these gifts for my brother who's got brain cancer, but I also could use her online course. So they become customers in various ways. Again, it's all interlaced. I can't separate one from the other.
And so here's the thing. A lot of people will write a book. It'll be in Barnes and Noble, it'll be wherever, and people go buy the book, they read it, and off they go, and they never go back to your website. So how are you getting them back to your website?
That's a great question. I'm proud to share. So right on the back cover, FITZ'S.com. So I'm not being shy about steering people towards me. I'm pretty sure at the beginning of Noisy, the memoir, when I talk about who I am and what I do, I say, go visit me at FITZ'S.com, and you'll see me on a regular basis. But the back pages of Healthy and the journal, they've got pages steering people. What are you going to get at FITZ'S.com? Well, you're going to get articles and recipes and workout videos and so forth. So yeah, and my keynotes, they're referenced back here. So you know what? My book, if these people enjoy my book, perhaps they would like to hire me for a keynote or make a bulk order for their oncology center. So yeah, I'm trying to be business savvy by making my services and my products readily available, and people can't buy stuff or buy your services if they don't know they exist.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that you write the book, and somewhere in the book, on the front, on the back cover, somewhere, you have not just like go to this website for more, but you have go to this website for recipes, workouts, and you're offering some free content.
Tons of free content,
Right.
tons.
And then they're like, woo, free content. They go to your website, they get on that free content page. And then what happens? Is there a link to the next piece, or do you just allow them to be there and explore? Do you get them on your email list through free content? Like, what's that? Just kind of walk us through what you're hoping the reader will what steps they'll take and how they get there and how you've set that up.
Sure. So most importantly, I want them to read that free content. So anyone can go on the cover and see exact formula for weight loss. That's I would say the majority of Americans or North Americans or most people in general are trying to lose between 1 and 1,000 pounds. And it pains me that they're doing diets and pills and shakes and all this supplemental snake oil. So I want them to go there and read that article for free and have the answers. There's so many things I want them to go and just absorb. I created it for consumption, and I didn't put a price tag there for a reason. I want just eat it all up, enjoy all the content for free. But then also, if you'd like to take it to another level, it's certainly appreciated. I have some people I have been providing free content for decades. These are people that I have been a loyal servant for free. Historically, corporations pay my salaries. So I have been able to give away free content to individuals because I want them to have it. But some of those people say, gosh, you've served us for free nobly for 10 years. We're going to support you back, and we're going to buy your book for the 5 people we know with cancer right now, or we're going to take the next step and get your course. So I'm not a hard sale person.
Mm-hmm.
I like to make the content available. If you're looking, it's there. And if you want to enjoy these products while supporting my business, I'm super grateful for it. But where I lack is in the mailing list. That's really where I've lacked, because they're just like, come and get it. It's free. I like you. I want you to be healthy. So I could do better there.
Yeah. So you don't have this like strict funnel. I'm generous. Here it is. And if you want to, while you're here, explore the other parts of the website that offer paid things like courses, you're welcome to. But if not, come get the content, wander off.
Yes.
And you said you're paid by corporations. So are you talking about when you do race announcing?
Yes, and corporate speaking
and things like that? So you focus on that as revenue, as your main source of revenue, and the other pieces, which allows you to be generous and give things away.
Yeah, I never wanted a dollar to stand between me and my ability to help people. And if somebody is overweight and struggling, I don't want to deny them the information, especially because the fitness industry is so scuzzy. It's like lying liars who lie everywhere. And so if I can be that one person who says, here's the truth, and it's really simple, stupid, and easy and doable. And I want them to have it. I would. And on the flip side, companies have offered me millions of dollars to sell those weight loss supplements and shakes. And I've said, no, thank you. I'd rather die poor in the streets than lie to these people or take advantage of somebody when it comes to health. So, the most important part of my business is integrity.
Yeah. I love that.
And that's why those big companies with the big brands, Disney, Oakley, Tropicana, Office Depot, that's why they trust me, because I don't lie to anybody, and they know that the information I have is sound.
Yeah, I love that. And if you're looking to lose weight, fad diets are not the route, right? Oh. And neither are the billion, as you call them, snake oil supplements that, so anyways, we won't get into that, because I really want to talk about so self-publishing. So you were traditionally published, and then you took the self-publishing route, and for you, it was you'll never go back. This has really made a difference. So if people are just starting out, what's your advice?
My advice is, I like the self-publishing route it's far better if you're a talented writer, if you have something to say, whether it's nonfiction or fiction, you got to be a good writer. We start there. Sometimes there's someone who has no concept of grammar or spelling, or stop, do something else. Leave the book writing to people who are good writers.
Yeah.
Say your piece, get it organized. There's a ton of great resources. You provide great resources. I've been using Julie Broad with book launchers. When I first started looking into, when I first started writing Noisy, I found her, and she makes all these tiny little vignettes on how to do everything in the self-publishing world. It's for free. I mean, she's like me. She says, take it. And I've gone for walks with my dog, just listening to her videos on repeat on, whatever's going on. This is how to set up chapter titles and so forth. So she's been a godsend, but you can also hire her to do the publishing business. So my thoughts are write well, get organized, write a slamming book, and then hire professionals to make it a professional product. There is no way in tarnation I would have come up with something so pretty and so beautifully laid out had I tried it myself. There is no way you can do that in a Word document, right? So I hired a professional editor and a professional proofreader, professional cover designer, professional layout designers. And I do that because I'm a professional person, and I want my memoir to sit in between George Bush, Michelle Obama, and people think, oh, they all came from the same publishing house, right? Clearly, they're all top-notch books. So yeah, it matters to me. So definitely get professional, use professionals to make your words, your story, your book the best it can be. And edit and edit and edit 75,000 times. And then, because there's always that one thing.
Yeah. I was just working with a client, and she's doing a self-edit, and we talked about 3 ways to edit. And then I said, but you would do it one at a time. First edit is just this one task. Second edit is just this. She's like, really? I'm like, yep, just go over it, over the book, over and over again, different task each time. This is, you want an amazing book? Yes. Over and over and over again. Edit, right? Yeah.
I'm a talented writer, and I'm good with grammar. I would be embarrassed if I put out what I wrote without editing. So Grammarly has been a great investment. And then also when I did my audiobook for Noisy, I narrated the audiobook, and I found some errors while reading it out loud. That's a great editing tool. So thankfully I hadn't published the real book until I was done with the audio, but edit.
Yes. Good advice. Read it out loud, right? That's such good advice. And read it backwards is the other piece that I often say. So if you're looking at per sentence, you read the last sentence and then read the second last sentence. So that way your brain can't get sucked into the ideas.
Love it.
And forget that what you're looking at is the sentence structure. So if you read it in the wrong order, you're looking at per sentence, and it doesn't make enough sense in your brain to lose sight of what you're actually looking at. Yes. So read it backwards. Yes, read it backwards. Sounds very strange, but it works really well. All right. So why self-publishing? Why not traditional again?
Well, I could go into the ugly story of self-publishing, but the reason for self-publishing is control of my content. I didn't want anyone to mince with my words. I wanted this product to be the product in my head, not somebody else's. And timeline. I wanted Noisy out in a hurry. And I knew that if I got sucked into the process of literary agent and the publisher, it might be 3 years until that book was out. And that just wasn't acceptable for me. So it was control and timeline.
And how long did it take to get your book out?
Each book, it's taken about a year since I started writing. Yeah. So it's a year from first word to book in hand.
Okay. And that is working with, so I'm just going to say this again, just so everyone's clear, you're writing it, but you're also hiring professionals for editing and formatting and cover design and doing beautiful illustrations on the inside and all of those pieces. So you, as a self-published author, are pulling your team together and finding the right people.
Yeah. And I have to spend, right? So some people are like, I can't spend. No, you can spend for probably $1,000 to $2,000. You could have a professionally edited, produced product. And if you're going to publish something, boy, it should be good. Have enough respect for yourself to make that investment, even if it takes time. Not everybody has $1,000 to spend. It's a business investment, much like people take out a $400,000 loan to build a restaurant. Maybe you're taking out $1,000 for your book. I kind of got off track there, but yeah, it's using those professionals and trusting them. I am in charge of, I'm in charge of all of this outcome, but look how pretty this is. I can come up with that. My graphic designer.
Yeah, I love it. Love the colors. I mean, thinking about cancer and how down we feel, seeing a cover that's so light and bright and colorful is going to be really attractive, because isn't that what we and I don't know, because I've not had cancer. Well, not seriously, but like a moth to light, right?
Yes.
It's like you're just looking for brightness. Okay, really quick, wrap up. Last question. Top 3 ways to promote your book.
Okay, for me, speaking. I find that when I'm on a stage, most everybody wants to walk out with a book. So speak, and invest in speaking well too. Don't just get up on a stage and say, and like. You need to be organized, and you need to knock it out of the park. Nobody's going to buy anything. So speaking, I actually have success with social media, but I have a really strong following. So that helps me. And number 3, I am not an aggressive salesperson. I do feel uncomfortable just standing up and saying, buy my product. It's not who I am. So I do mentions of my book. Sometimes I'm shipping out 20 pink envelopes stuffed with my books, and I do a little dance and post that I'm having fun shipping out these books, or I do something silly during a book signing, and I'll share that. So again, I'm not shoving it down your throat saying, you come out and buy my book. I just remind people that it's available. And then, when their person is diagnosed, they remember, Fitz Koehler has some books. I need to get them for my person.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you so much. So if you're out there, learn more about Fitz at FITZ'S.com, or follow Fitz at Instagram.com/FITZ'S. They are both in the description as well. To wrapping up. So what are you working on right now? What new and exciting project are you working on right now?
So the Healthy Cancer Comeback Journal will come out next week. That's the one I didn't show you.
Yes.
And so from there on out, it's this Cancer Comeback 3-pack. And I'm going straight to the media as soon as I have the journal in one hand. I'm going to go big. So TV, newspapers. I've got a lot of work ahead of me that I'm really excited about.
I love it. Package them as a unit too, just in case people want to buy them all at once. Right. Where can people get your books?
Well, they're available wherever books are sold. But I would much prefer people come directly to FITZ'S.com. Every book that leaves my office gets personally signed. It comes with a free gift, and it's wrapped beautifully, because as you mentioned before, things with cancer are often so beige and dreary and dark. And I wanted everything about my books to squeal joy and light and health. And so I provide that. When you go to your mailbox and you get one of the books or all of the books sent by me, you'll feel happy just when you open up your mailbox.
Perfect. And one last question, where can people reach you?
At FITZ'S.com. It's my home base for everything. Reach out and say hi, and let me know you heard me on the Author Nation podcast, because I'd much rather have friends than followers.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I just want to say the Holistic Tooth Fairy says, great conversation. Thanks. Thank you, Holistic Tooth Fairy, who also has an awesome book. So yeah, thank you so much for joining in. And Dual Brainer is just saying he's loved it. So thank you so much, Dual Brainer, for joining us as well today. All right. And thank you for joining us today. If you have a book in you, you don't really have a book in you. There's nothing, you didn't eat it or anything. You have an idea for a book. And if you're looking for ideas, ways to get that book out, feel free to join Author Nation. AuthorNation.community is where you'll find us. And come back next week because we will be talking to Michelle Mitchell about building a visual budget for your author business. I will see you then.